Hello there, and welcome to Film Raw here at Bunkazilla UK. It's the place where we digest the latest movie releases across the cinematic spectrum. I am one half of your team here. I am Ian Bolton, and I'm joined by my cinematic partner in crime. It is Christian R. Allen.
Hello.
Hello. Right, so Halloween time is coming. It's around the corner. So we are going to dive into Disney's back catalogue, and we're going to talk about Hocus Pocus. The review is just about to start, but first, this. Before we start on our video review, if you want to be notified about brand new videos from Film Raw and the rest of the Bunkazilla UK team, simply hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It'll make the Bunkasaurus very happy indeed. So, reissued into cinemas during this Halloween season and recently released in a 4K format from Disney, there is no better time to revisit their cult Halloween classic, Hocus Pocus, which was released all the way back in 1993. Three witches, played by Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Najimy, are resurrected after 300 years to exact revenge and begin a reign of terror after Max, a young boy who's just moved to Salem with his family, lights a cursed candle that brings them back, and yes, spooky stuff goes on.
Shenanigans.
So there are so many different ways you can watch Hocus Pocus at the moment. It's out on 4K from Disney. It's at cinemas, for example. It's at my local View. It's also on Disney Plus. So there's plenty of ways to watch this film.
You can't escape Hocus Pocus.
No, you can't escape it. I think looking into this, it's had a little bit of, it has a bit of a cult following because
absolutely, yeah.
And I think it's very easy to see why, because I think it's really powered by three really comedic performances by the witches themselves, led by Bette Midler, obviously with a young Sarah Jessica Parker as well, and Catherine Najimy as well. They are just an excellent comedy trio, and I think every time the three of them are together, it's like I found it really entertaining.
Yeah, I felt exactly the same way. It's I hadn't watched this since I was a kid, and I had fond memories of it back in 1993.
Back in the days.
And you're absolutely right. There definitely appears to be a cult following. I think because it is quite a campy, fun film, and it does feel it's the best of that American style Halloween, which we kind of do dabble in the UK and other countries, but this is definitely America's territory when it comes to sort of like, going all out. And it's a bit of a mixed bag for me rewatching this with sort of adult eyes. I totally agree with you. The sisters, the witches themselves, are by far the best thing about this film. And they carry the film enough so to the point where I didn't hate this. In fact, every time they're on screen, it's an absolute delight. And yeah, I mean, Najimy and Sarah Jessica Parker, they're both great, but this is the Bette Midler show.
Oh, absolutely.
And Bette Midler's clearly gone through the script, realised that this is, usually. I mean, it feels very much like the kind of stuff that Disney Channel knocks out, like these movies that poor parents have to watch as their kids decide to buy, like Descendants, or this tosh. That's not that great, but kids seem to lap up. So I'd imagine Midler must have read the script and then just thought, no, I'm going to have a blast. I'm just going to have. They're clearly having fun, and they're just. They do feel it's just interesting because they do feel like a threat. But at the same time, it's a joy to watch them perform, and like especially the sort of the fact that they're thrown 300 years in the future, watching them freak out at the sight of a fire truck or a
bus
or anything like that. Sort of like the fish out of water element of it is great. My problems, and I'd imagine I suspect you've come to the same opinion as me watching this, is everything around the witches is that kind of that Disney Channel-esque tosh. That that kind of level of I'm just going to say it's crap. It's just like,
I think the softer word I would use is it's throwaway.
It's very disposable. Yes, I agree.
It's basically you just don't really. I mean, yeah, it's obviously because we're adults watching the film, but it's just you look at it. It's just like you definitely do remember the witches more, but you just don't really care about the kids.
Well, this is the thing. So the first 10 minutes set during the sort of the height of the Salem witch trials, that kind of period.
It's a very dark opening.
Very dark opening. It's very engaging, and I can see why children would be drawn to this because kids love this kind of stuff, and rightly so. But then it cuts to modern day, and it takes about 20 minutes to get to their resurrection. And that 20 minutes is filled with really odd teen drama that doesn't really tonally set well within the film. I mean, it talks about virginity, and there's the issue of bullying. The bullies are basically strange. I don't know if they're a ripoff of Bulk and Skull from Power Rangers at the time.
I was thinking that.
Or if the Bulk and Skull were a ripoff of them, but it's the same kind of deal. And it feels like the writers, the makers of this film, have an idea of what teenagers are like, having watched MTV, but have never actually bothered to speak to real children, real adolescents, because everything comes across as just kind of weird. Again, it's a weird Disney Channel. It's like it's written. I don't know. It just doesn't feel. The witches feel more authentic than the actual normal characters.
Do you know who the director is, or what the director's also gone to do?
Kenny Ortega.
Yes.
No, not off the top of my head.
Well, if for the Disney fans, they're probably screaming very loudly at us right now. He is responsible for High School Musical. And
I told you,
the Descendants.
I told you, Disney Channel disposable parent nightmare. They are those kind of films. They're committee designed. They lack artistic integrity. Hey, if I was hired to direct one, I would take the money. So I'm not. This isn't a value judgment on Ortega or anyone involved with those productions. The cast or acting and whatnot. I understand why those films exist, but those films exist to sell merchandise. Like I don't see them as being particularly great forms of artistic expression. And the problem with Hocus Pocus is it feels half the time it feels very committee led, very by the numbers. Awkward, weird teen soap mixed with child-friendly witch hunting. It's just again, if it wasn't for Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, or Kathy Najimy, this film would be, no one would watch this film.
Yeah, I think because I've never seen Hocus Pocus before. I know of it.
Oh, really?
I know of it, and I know of the fondness for it. So coming into it and watching it, it's kind of like, I can see why it's a cult following. I can see why people who watch it, their kids, are drawn to it now.
Do you feel there's a bit of nostalgia glasses being worn by a lot of people?
Possibly,
because the contemporary to this, which technically not Disney, Touchstone, but it is Disney, released at the same time, was The Nightmare Before Christmas. And I rewatched that recently. I mean, I loved that just the same as I loved this as a child. Having rewatched Nightmare Before Christmas through adult eyes, I'm still convinced that's an excellent movie. And it seems to have kept within the cultural zeitgeist a little bit longer than Hocus Pocus. Although with this new campaign, with the re-release and the 4K, I'd imagine this. I mean, there is discussions of a sequel being produced, I believe.
Yeah, I think there's been talk for it for some time, but nothing too concrete has appeared. Obviously, if we are wrong, do let us know in the comments below. In that side of things.
But do you understand why this film's gathered a kind of cult following, or can you?
Yeah, I think it's like, again, these are different types of films to kind of look at. I mean, it's like I'm a sucker for Batman Forever, and that's because I watched Batman Forever when I was younger, and it's like it's like this is one of the coolest things I saw as a child.
It really is when you rewatch it.
Yeah, when you rewatch it, you really know. Yeah, it's a bit all over the place and doesn't know what it's trying to be.
I mean, when I was a child, my favorite Batman movie was Batman and Robin. What an idiot!
I saw Batman. It's like shocking admission of the episode. I saw Batman and Robin twice at the cinema because I was thinking, yeah, this is fine. It's silly, but it's fine. And then you watch it when like 10 years later and go, oh no. It's the Bat credit card that kills your soul. Just no home without it.
You know, George. You know, if you approach George Clooney in the street, if you ever see George Clooney in the street and tell him you bought a ticket to see that film, he will pull out like $10 and give you a refund there and then. He's done that before. He owes you like 20 quid.
Oh,
like,
no! It's like George needed a proper start. It's not the best start, but he learned from it. So
I'm going to say totally off tangent. Actually, the only redeeming feature of Batman and Robin is George Clooney. I think he is an excellent, really underrated Batman. He just happens to be in the worst movie ever made. Playing Batman, so
if he came in maybe for Batman Forever, that might have.
Yeah, I think he would have. I think he would have a lot more affection for his portrayal if it wasn't. That's the thing. I can't forgive that movie for the movie it is. And again, what ruined Batman and Robin is some guys are complaining about. It's designed by committee. Batman and Robin was specifically designed to sell those toys. The reason why Tim Burton
Happy Meals.
Exactly. The reason why Tim Burton was sacked after Batman Returns, because the plan was always to do a trilogy with the actor's name, Billy, who played
Billy D. Williams.
So thank you. Billy D. Williams was originally meant to be the Two-Face for the final villain, and I think it was going to be called something really bad like Batman Continues. As it does. Yeah, the reason why Tim Burton was fired is because Batman Returns was so adult orientated that all the McDonald's marketing just didn't work, didn't make any sense. All these children were being like force-fed Batman merchandise for a film they couldn't see.
Oh, that sort of similar situation came out to a nasty effect with Spider-Man, the very first one.
That changed legislation in this country. Yeah. That actually had impact on the BBFC.
And that's how we got the 12A.
Yeah, which is the strangest certificate. It's kind of pointless in a way, but yeah,
anyway, Hocus Pocus.
I was about to have a clever segue back to Hocus Pocus, but
okay.
No, you don't deserve it now.
All right, fine. Be that way. Yeah. So the thing is, I can understand why younger people who watched it when they're younger have resonated with the film. I think for me coming in, I see why. The witches themselves are brilliant. No questions asked. And you're right. Everything else around it is just indifferent shrug to it. So I think if you had a family, if you're watching this and you have a family, and if you haven't seen Hocus Pocus, or you want to pass down Hocus Pocus to your kids, this is a good time to do it. It's fun. The kids will probably find enjoyment out of it. And yeah, it's fine for the family Halloween season, but it's not necessarily going to the top of my Halloween lists. And yeah, that's all I can say. It's like I didn't mind it. I'm not going to watch it again.
Yeah,
what else can I say?
That's very similar to my take, and it was surprised me because when I sat down to watch this, haven't seen it in 10, 15 years. I thought, brilliant. I'd love to, this. I generally, if we had done the review, I'd have probably picked up the 4K at some point, just through nostalgia glasses. I'm glad I didn't, because that would have been a waste of 25 quid. But I totally agree with you on the fact that, if I had a kid, I would gladly sit down and watch this with them. I think children will enjoy this. There's a lot to gain for it, even though some of the themes don't quite gel, like the developing sexuality of the main teenage characters, which that's just it's kind of there with the whole virginity subplot and whatnot. It's just, I don't know. It's just kind of, I'm not sure who this film is for, if that makes sense. Yeah, it just feels a bit tonally off at times. But no, I agree. I think most families would enjoy this. And Bette Midler is a delight, and she should have won Best Actress at the Academy Awards that year for this performance because it's incredible, and she's clearly having the time of her life. So, some of the music's good as well.
The song and dance number.
I put a spell on you. Yeah, that was a very good sequence, I thought. And to be honest, just not to be totally negative, some of the positives I can think of as well. The special effects aren't bad.
Yeah, they're very good for the age.
Yeah, the cat in particular. I mean, it's kind of obvious now, but for the time, I think that's quite an achievement. And some of the prosthetics and the zombies and stuff like that, I think look great. It looks really good for what it is.
You have an early appearance by Doug Jones in the film as well as
really
as the resurrected soldier trying to get the kids for most of the film. That's Doug Jones.
The beginning of Doug Jones' endless time in the makeup booth.
But you actually saw his face a lot more in this one because it's actually his face. So let's move on to a star rating here for Hocus Pocus. I think because of those strong performances, and because I think it's still a decent Halloween film for families, I think 3 stars is the max I could go for this. I think if it wasn't for Midler and co, this would be lower.
Yeah, because when I was watching this, I was thinking, how do I rate this? And every time they were on screen, I was thinking, no, this is a solid 4-star movie. Every time they were off screen, this is barely a 2-star movie. So, I 3. Yeah, I completely agree. Still recommendation, obviously, like we've just said.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, still, I mean, again, if you're a fond fan of it or if you're a family looking for something spooky this Halloween, you can't go wrong with it, to be perfectly honest. So, yeah, that's Hocus Pocus. It puts a spell on you for certain amounts of time. So those are our thoughts on Hocus Pocus. If you want to share your thoughts on the film, do let us know in the comments below. We've also reviewed recently Akira 4K. It's in one of our previous videos. Do check that out. And of course, as always, you can get in touch with us by emailing us at filmraw@bunkazilla.co.uk. So until the next time, keep it cinematic. I've been Ian Bolton and joined by Christian R. Allen.
Happy Halloween in 2 weeks' time.
Pretty much. Spooky goodbyes.
That was the least spooky thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's this video.